To Minnetonka Cave. This is the Minnetonka Road. Or Minnetonka Cave Road, to be exact. Beach house. Yeah, very nice houses. National Forest. Camping and stuff. Ground entrance to 300 feet. I think that's the campground entrance. National Forest.
So if you're wondering how this cave was formed, about 360 million years ago, North America was underwater in a subtropical ocean. Sea curve skeletons, fish poop, algae, and seaweed accumulated at the bottom of the ocean and formed layer upon layer upon layer of sedimentary rock, which is what you see to my right. All this gray stuff all around us is limestone. This is the largest limestone cave in Idaho. About 60 million years ago, there was a glacier, and that glacier melted. When water mixes with decaying animal parts and plants, it gets called carbonic acid. If you look at this ceiling, you'll notice there's a bunch of cracks. I know it's not comforting, but that's how that carbonic acid came in here, and it formed a river that hollowed out this limestone and just ate away at it. And eventually, about 10,000 years ago, that water table dropped, and then it just revealed this, and now we have what we have today. Another name for carbonic acid is carbonated water. So basically, what I'm telling you is this cave was formed from Mountain Dew. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? No, Chaz. Move on. Move on. Feeding in the cave to keep people out. So the public came in here and of their own free will got to this point. They destroyed a lot of the formations with sledgehammers. Probably mostly out of curiosity. You can see this one was cemented back together by the WPA, and a lot of them were like this one over here, and I do not know what the WPA was thinking when they made that one, but no one would have noticed that, right?
I think they knew what they were thinking.
Yeah. hey, this will be a good prank. Alright, the reason we call it the display room is all the basic formations that we have in the cave are on display in this room. Anything that's icicle-like that is the ground and hasn't reached the ceiling is called a stalagmite. The difference between the two, stalactites cling tight to the ceiling and stalagmites might reach the ceiling. Back here we have what's called a column. It touches the ground and the ceiling. They form when a stalactite and a stalagmite meet, when a stalactite reaches the ground, or when a stalagmite reaches the ceiling. This right here is my favorite formation. We call it cave ribbon, cave drapery, or cave bacon. That red stuff is iron and the white stuff is calcium. How these things grow for a stalactite. A water droplet will actually come down off the ground, or not the ground, sorry, the ceiling, and it carried down minerals with it. If that water droplet stays on the ceiling, the minerals it carried down with it will harden and then it will build going down. Almost the same thing for a stalagmite, except the water droplet drips down onto the ground, minerals harden, and then it builds going up. It'll take about 100 years for a ½ inch to grow on a stalactite. So these little stalactites in front of me on this ledge right here, if they're 1 inch, they're about 200 years old. It's even shorter for a stalagmite. It's about 1 millimeter every 300 years. I would guess this one right here is about 500,000 to 750,000 years old. This one right here is about 2 to 3 inches long, so I'd say 400 years to 600 years old. Kind of a cool little thing. The reason why we ask you not to touch the rocks or the formations is because you have oil on your hands. And as I explained before, these formations need water to grow. Oil and water do not mix. If the oil from your hands were to get on the formation and the water were to drip on it to help it grow, it just slide off because of your oil. Do I have any questions? They will continue to grow. I'd like to point out our oldest and largest formation in the cave is back here in the corner. We call those guys right there the 3 sisters. The one in the middle looks like she's waving to you. They're about 2 million years old. They're all connected at the base. The one in the middle is the middle child because she's raising her hand and wants attention. Anyway, what really happened is about 2,000 years ago, there was an earthquake. This ledge shifted, came down on top of her, and just gave her a splitting headache. So, not really much to know about this room. Does anyone have any questions? Reflects everywhere. If the oil from your hands were to get on this rock, it would actually make it very disgusting and black and gross. So we don't want that to happen. This is where the cave ended. And a lot of the vandalism that occurred in these beginning rooms did not occur back there because it was blocked off. WPA came along, found out it was loose rocks, and they moved it aside. Please do not touch these rocks. Keep to this handrail for me. Okay. Joe Mama. I'm just kidding. Those are not human remains. They're from a rodent, and that rodent is a bit of a large rodent. So does anyone know what that rodent could be?
Bat.
It's not a bat.
Badger.
It's not a badger. Badger's close. Starts with a P.
Possum.
It's not a possum.
Porcupine.
Porcupine. Oscar, no, he was Ernell's brother. He took the Boy Scouts in here. Those Boy Scouts said, we found 2 porcupines. One was dead and one was alive. I don't know if we should believe them or not since we're Boy Scouts. It was convenient they named it Porcupine Cave. Eventually, a professor named George Walker, he was from Utah, he decided that that name was not good enough. He proposed the name Minnetonka because it sounded cool. That is the literal reason why he proposed that name. It sounded cool. Okay? Anyway, does anyone know what Minnetonka means?
No.
Tiny toy truck. Oh, I'm just kidding. It means falling water. It's a Native American language. I've heard some people say it's from the Sioux tribe, but the Sioux took in so many other people, it's hard to trace the direct origin. Anyway, moving on. This is our largest room in the entire cave. From end to end, it's about the size of a football field or 300 feet. From the top to the bottom, it's about 90 feet. From the ceiling up to the surface is about 60 feet. It is the highest point in the entire cave. The lowest we will go is 350 feet, and that is in the very back room. This right here is our largest strip of cave bacon. It's 20 feet long and 18 inches wide at the widest point. We named it Kevin Bacon. Oh, nice. All right, at the end, on the left, it looks like there's a foot loose. And this is the point where all the little kids ask, who's Kevin Bacon? Yeah. All right, then. At the end of this pathway, there's a 71-stair staircase. It's our steepest staircase in the entire cave. I do have people, if they're scared of heights, they stay at the top and wait for us to come back out. I also have the occasional person who feels like they will not be able to make it back up those stairs, so they also stay at the top and wait. I will say, as we are coming back up those stairs, because we do have to go down, we can stop about halfway in between if you would like, so you can catch a breather, because I do wait for everybody. Does anyone have any questions before we move on? these red lights. There's really not much to know about this room. Behind these rocks, there's a pathway. It goes back 7 feet and then it drops 40 feet into what we call the Devil's Office. If you want to look down into Devil's Office, right below what we call the Devil's Doorbell, do not ring that. There's a window you can look down into, and there are lights down there. One another. What makes this formation so special is that it has to be under a constant drip of water in order to form. This water will drip all year long because you're right below the minimum risk range. I'm kidding. It's melted snow and it's rain, but the real reason why it drips all year long is because there's underdeveloped chambers in the upper and lower portions of this cave. There must be an underground stream or an underground pond up there enough to the point where it just keeps dripping. Anyway, there's no stalactites coming from where the water is dripping. Because the water falls down so fast, there's no having stalactites to form. And how this gold coin formation forms, actually the water will drip, and then as it drips, it spreads out the minerals, and then it makes it like gold coins. And the real reason why we let us go up here, about 2 weeks ago, a little girl threw up, and the puke is still everywhere. So I'm not going to let you go up there. But the real reason is that's a dead end. Originally, the WPA wanted the staircase to go down and then around. They decided that'd be too dangerous. They made this pathway right here. What we're about to walk under is called a fault line. You don't know what a fault line is? They cause earthquakes. The reason why we're able to determine whether or not it was a fault line is because we found displacement. By that, I mean a certain type of layer of rock is above or below another certain type of layer of rock. They used to be like this, but now it is like that. So they move like that, that's what causes an earthquake. It's called the Temple Ridge Fault Line. Do I have any questions? Is anyone worried about earthquakes now? Because I will say, like, the county has decided in the event of an earthquake, this would be the safest place to be. Yeah, so this cave actually has bedrock. Bedrock is somehow immune to earthquakes. It's kind of a cool little thing. If you want to look up at that fault line, you know, about 5 steps down, it's like this massive crack. Remember, you can see that the floor is made out of clay. That is because this is where the original riverbed of the cave was when the cave was being formed. How the clay happens is rock actually breaks down to the point it can't break down anymore. It's almost like flour and water. Yeah. I want a puppy now. It's okay, my dog gave birth 2 weeks ago. That you saw coming from the ceiling in treasure room is actually a waterfall. It's pretty big. What we're about to walk by is actually called Elephant's Ear. It is a point of the cave that just breaks off from the designated trail. But if you go back the furthest you can into Elephant's Ear, you're about 5 to 10 feet from the surface. There's several more rooms back there.
Yeah, if you want to film our stuff. Okay.
Without using the light, because I've just been in it so many times, I just know where I am. Alright, we call this room the wedding room because of these 2 formations right here. We call this one on the top the bride. It's our largest stalactite in the entire cave. It looks like it's got a ring inside it, so that was why we call it the bride. Anyway, if she's the bride, that makes this guy gigantic room. They'll officially meet in about 3 to 4 million years. That will be the official wedding. You are all invited back. The kicker is the weight from her growing so much, maybe too much, she might just crack and fall. So it's a bad breakup. And he'll be crushed. But that might not happen either. He's getting cold feet. Back here, the cave extends another 1,200 feet and then it just stops. The reason why the WPA ended the pathway right here is because they went up there, they decided it was too hard to install a handrail. The ceiling is 5 feet high and there are some places where you have to squeeze to get through. It's bad for people with claustrophobia. Here's another natural formation. We call it a thermometer. So it's just there to show you that the cave is a constant 40 degrees even in the winter time. The reason for that being, caves will accommodate to the average temperature of the area they're in. The average temperature of this area is 40 degrees year round. So when it's 20 below outside, this would be the warmest place to be. This is the part where I turn the lights off, but you guys find your way out. Okay. You hear that? Yeah, here we go. Alright. What did you say?
I don't know.
Okay. So if you want to know what it was like for Edward Arnell when he came in here with a lantern. It was about like that. He was pretty brave. I could not do that. You can imagine seeing a formation in the dark and like thinking it was a person and just calling out, hello? That'd be so scary. Another thing, some of these rocks will glow in the dark if you have a certain type of flashlight. What I have in my hand right now is called a black light. It's going to emit this kind of purple light. Kind of cool thing. You guys can come closer too if you'd like. This is actually something to do with phosphorus and fluorescence. The electrons in the rock are getting super excited and they're charged up. What's really cool is it holds a charge.
It's like you're glowing darker than us.
So and the reason why I did that is because of those electrons are trying to calm down. We'll try it again. Again? Yes. Okay, okay. Oh, not my pun. Yeah, we'll try the whole thing this time. Whoa.
Do it again, I missed it. We cannot see. Selfie? Oh, there we go. This is where we're going.
My face.
Okay. Coming.
Never going to grow again. It's completely dead. It's pretty much to the point where the water drips on it, it repels it. If you're thinking I'm not going to touch it, it's a COVID rock. You've been touching a handrail for the last hour. And what we're about to pass is actually called Elsa's Castle. It's that blue formation up there. The reason why it is blue is because we have a blue light on it. It's for the kids.
Okay, let's touch the COVID rock. You want a picture? Oh, and now you have COVID.
You just touch it.
Oh, it's so smooth.
Good job, Mom and Dad.
Please watch the muffin. Walkie-talkie? Walkie-talkie? That's the view. So steep.
And here's where the road goes. It turns around over there. And here's where we parked. Cows.
Oh, cows.
Yes.
Mommy cow,
Oh, little baby cow.
baby cow. They're eating grass.
Yes. The lake. Bear Lake. Look at that view. You can see the lake. Mountains back there. So nice. It's here. Oh, there.
They're baby llama, no?
I don't. Well, the one is a baby. The other one is not a baby.
The mommy.
You can open the window.
Hi, llama. You're famous now.